Sniper Elite has many games in the series. They all offer co-op campaigns, and not much seems to change between them. And the biggest jump was from 1 to 2, but I hated the first game, and thought 2 was pretty enjoyable. 2, 3, and 4 largely feel like the same game, and even roughly use the same engine, just various upgrades and tweaks to it as the years go by. For Sniper Elite 5, I was expecting more of the same, and that's fine. Will this one be a home run? Or will it just be another alright decent co-op campaign? We chose the second hardest difficulty, as the game suggests that's what you should play if you're a veteran of the series. But each mission you can choose a loadout, and there's a handful of snipers to choose from, as well as a secondary submachine gun, and then pistols. Most of the guns were locked, and you have to complete various challenges on each level to unlock them. We pretty much ignored this part of the game. And if we accidentally unlocked a weapon here or there, cool. But if not, whatever. But the upgrade system wasn't that engaging or fun, really. It could have been more exciting to unlock new weapons, but it didn't seem like a big focus of the game. You can put attachments on your weapon too, but again, it wasn't that big of a deal, except maybe putting a silencer on the machine gun. I only switched weapons a single time the whole game, and my co-op partner used the default stuff the whole time too. Anyways, the story and plot this time around is weak. The story is this typical modern diversity thing, where there's these two strong girl boss women characters fighting the fight and giving you orders and stuff. This Scottish black lady and this French woman. They don't really have any depth outside of being shoehorned into the game, seemingly to push some progressive agenda, because the personality and writing here is just very boring. Luckily the cutscenes are pretty short, and each level you will just get a brief slideshow introduction overview of what you'll have to do, and maybe a minute of these characters, and then you're off to deal with the big open maps as you please. The first impression was that somehow the graphics are even worse in some areas than the previous games. I don't know what it is, but this time they've somehow screwed up the engine's anti-aliasing, or this game just has more objects and details in it, but there's jaggies or jagged lines all over the place, and it really kind of ruins the presentation. The graphics overall have impressive moments. It still doesn't feel like it's this high-value AAA game. It's rough around the edges. Some of the lighting looks good, like the beach levels, where the sun hits off the rocks and everything looks wet. The draw distance is great, which is essential for a sniper game. But yeah, not amazing. It seems like the most attention to detail went into the models and especially kill cam shots with the classic X-ray system. Not much has changed or has been improved here compared to previous games. If anything, I suspect the X-ray system has gotten slightly worse or is less in depth. There weren't that many crazy kill shots this time around, and especially when shooting through one enemy, the kill cam doesn't seem to keep going, showing you multiple kills, which is disappointing. Sometimes I would shoot two guys lined up, but the second guy wouldn't even be affected. It was weird. In previous games, it would show you the bullet going through multiple enemies. The first time we played this game, we were struck with how challenging it was. I guess we weren't in the right mindset at the time, so we dropped it for a week and came back later. We could not get past the first level and we were dying constantly. It's a game that rewards strategy and playing slowly and really scoping out the map literally with your binoculars and planning your approach. Once we realized that, it was almost smooth sailing. I'm saying we a lot, because it was a very engaging co-op experience. You have to coordinate almost every move with your co-op partner. One wrong move could mean one of you goes down, and then you have to help each other up or it's mission over, so you can't be too far away from each other. The controls can be janky at certain times, like pressing E to help each other is hard to get activated sometimes. The controls in other areas of the game are rough too. Sometimes you can press a button to hop over an object, other times you can't, it's inconsistent. And in the heat of battle or trying to escape, that can really be frustrating. The mechanics of the game are largely unchanged from previous games, if my memory serves right. I still find it odd how these games are about being this really tactical, realistic sniper assassin. You can dial in your scope distances and all that, you have to account for bullet drop, you have to choose ammo types like armor piercing to go through helmets. Yet, there is this mechanic where you hold spacebar, and your character holds his breath, and the game literally tells you exactly where to aim to account for the bullet drop. Like, in sniper games and real-life sniping, I almost thought the whole point is learning exactly how to account for the bullet drop and learning how to aim. But in these games, it basically has a built-in aimbot. Weird. I'm sure on the absolute hardest difficulty it takes it away, but still, it's odd that it's even a feature in the first place. The game is still lots of fun, and it can be brutally challenging. The levels do have a good variety among themselves. There are 9 of them, though the last one is hardly a level, so 8 levels really. There's one where you arrive on a beach from a little rubber boat and have to infiltrate some headquarters. Another one you are on the hills overlooking some big fantasy castle that you have to infiltrate. And there's a lot of missions just around the fields of France, sniping your way inside bases and various underground facilities. There is a few nighttime missions too, which seem to reward stealth gameplay, but we didn't really want to do this, as much as just go guns blazing. Each mission is at least an hour long, which I kind of found to be a bad thing. I would have rathered half as long missions, but double the amount, because it makes it feel better paced and gives you a good stopping point to take a break and go get a glass of water and stuff. Also, our games crashed multiple times or had network disconnects, and since the missions are so long, it makes you replay the entire mission. You can't just load from a checkpoint. That was really frustrating. Overall, the mission design and variety was decent, but it really is more of the same. None of these games really have these memorable blockbuster moments like something like Call of Duty, where years later you can remember key points of the plot or explosive moments. They're all kinda you just start off in some field or mountain and snipe enemies standing around in the forest. Then you make your way inside, grab some documents or explode some things, then leave. A big obstacle in this game are the alarms and sirens. Much of the game's strategy and thought revolves around preventing enemies from turning on alarms, causing waves of respawning enemies. So you scope out an arena and look for the alarms and either snipe them to destroy them, or walk up to them and disable them manually. Sometimes the alarm icons can be confusing or glitchy, because you shoot at it over and over, but it gives you an icon that looks like it's still enabled, which is weird. But the whole dynamic of revolving combat around these alarms is something familiar to the whole franchise. I think it's a good system and makes sense. A major new mechanic that Sniper Elite 5 introduces that gives it a distinct personality from its predecessor is the invasion mechanic. It really is true that From Software and the Souls games has had a significant impact on gaming culture and trends in general, because even Sniper Elite is having the same sort of mechanics brought into it. Yes, at random times, a random real-life player can invade into your game and hunt you down. Thankfully, this isn't as annoying as it might sound. For starters, as soon as you get invaded, it gives you a checkpoint, so you don't just waste tons of progress every time this happens. Second, there are phones scattered around the level that you can take, which shows you exactly where the enemy player is. Of course, he can just sprint away, because it tells you that you've spotted him, but it gives you a broad idea of where to look for him. If you successfully kill the enemy player, you get another checkpoint, and your co-op partner gets instantly brought back to life if he died. So in every mission we would get invaded, even multiple times, by enemy players, but we never thought it was a detriment to the gameplay. It was actually really exciting, and getting a headshot kill camera on another real player felt great, and it's like a total screw you. You think you can invade me? It added a lot of tension to know some real experienced players could be lurking around one of these giant maps, searching for you and your buddy. Really, I thought it was a brilliant addition to the game. Even something like trying to sprint to the level exit while knowing there's an enemy player searching for you, dodging past his bullets, was tons of fun. If any game is going to steal this Dark Souls mechanic, Sniper Elite is one of the more appropriate choices, with the giant open maps and non-linear gameplay. This alone is what makes Sniper Elite 5 stand out from the other games. It could have been really easy for them to screw this mechanic up by, say, not giving you checkpoints or not having the phone to find each other, but they pulled it off surprisingly well. After the initial difficulty hump and calibrating our senses and expectations of the game's mechanics, we got adjusted to what the game expected of us, and the difficulty wasn't that bad anymore. The game has 3 skill trees that you can dump points into after each level. It's very basic stuff like health, more armor, enemies automatically getting marked when they shoot at you, carrying more items, and so on. So I guess putting points into these skill trees also helped a fair bit. As the game goes on, you start to feel like a killing machine, getting back-to-back long-distance kills, and getting in a real flow with the combat that feels satisfying and good, because the killshot graphics and sniping mechanics are rewarding and fun to engage with. The second last level we struggled with, though. It's this giant city level at night, where there are constant sirens going on that you seemingly can't disable. So we would just go around shooting enemies and get overwhelmed by infinite enemies. We were also getting invaded by other players this whole time. making it that much more a pain in the ass. It got to the point that we desperately disabled invasions for the last level so we could have some breathing room to wrap our heads around what's going on. It turns out, as I suspected, it was this kind of pseudo-forced stealth level, since as soon as you get found out, you get swarmed by enemies. Really what you have to do is simply not kill any enemies and sneak around. There is a secondary objective you can find by picking up a piece of paper that lets you disable radio communications. I figured that this would stop the alarms. We snuck our way over to it and disabled the radios, but still we could hear the alarms. Okay then, that was stupid. From there we slowly made our way to the objective without shooting anyone loudly, and managed to make our way past the whole level. So at times the game heavily rewards stealth. From there we invaded this submarine complex and it was easy going. Blew up a few submarines and the level was complete. Then we thought, okay, we're at the last level. This is going to be hard. This is it. We entered the last level and we were sitting on a hill over this big mansion with an objective like, kill Commander. And we're thinking, okay, we have to infiltrate this big mansion and figure out how to do this crazy level. Nope. To our surprise, the Commander just lazily walks outside. We headshot him and boom, end credits. What? 15-second last level? Okay, that was pretty disappointing. They had this awesome mansion level where you could have worked your way to the big bad end villain, but they just made him walk out like a sitting duck for you. Did they run out of dev time or what? I thought that was odd. All in all, Sniper Elite 5 delivers an experience much like the previous games. I don't know if they will ever make an outstanding Sniper Elite game. For the past 10 years, they all seem to hit just the same for me. They're all decent games, they're fun co-op experiences, but they never achieve true greatness, or impactful memorable plots and cutscenes, or reach amazing heights. I think if they just had more interesting unique set pieces, level designs, and memorable villains and enemies, they could eventually one day create a masterpiece, because the formula is there, it's just everything around it seems a bit unimaginative every single time. 7 out of 10.